The Rotenburg Cannibal. The disturbing case of Armin Meiwes. The Rotenburg Cannibal, Armin Meiwes, became notorious worldwide after committing one of the most shocking and disturbing acts of consensual cannibalism in modern history. In 2001, Meiwes, a German computer technician, killed and ate a willing victim, Bernd-Jürgen Brandis, after the two men connected online through a cannibalism fetish forum. The case, which took place in the small town of Rotenburg, Germany, horrified the public and raised unprecedented legal and ethical questions about the nature of consent, mental health, and criminal responsibility. Armin Meiwes, early life and fantasies. Armin Meiwes was born on December 1, 1961, in Kassel, Germany. His childhood was troubled and lonely. When Meiwes was only 8 years old, his father abandoned the family, leaving him in the care of his domineering mother. His isolation deepened over the years, and he became withdrawn, retreating into fantasy worlds. From a young age, Meiwes harbored dark fantasies of cannibalism, imagining what it would be like to eat another person. He later claimed that his desire was not rooted in violence, but rather in a longing for companionship. His fantasies of cannibalism were a way to absorb another person and never be alone. These fantasies grew stronger as he matured, but he kept them secret for many years. As an adult, Meiwes worked as a computer technician, and led a relatively quiet life. However, the advent of the internet in the late 1990s provided an outlet for his dark desires. He found like-minded individuals on online forums dedicated to cannibalism, where people shared fantasies about consuming human flesh. The Cannibal Cafe forum and Bernd Brandis. In 2001, Meiwes posted an advertisement on the Cannibal Cafe, a forum where individuals discussed their cannibalistic fantasies. His post explicitly stated that he was looking for a willing volunteer to be killed and eaten. While most people dismissed his request as a twisted fantasy, one man took the offer seriously: Bernd-Jürgen Brandis, a 43-year-old engineer from Berlin. Brandis had his own disturbing desire to be killed and consumed. He responded to Meiwes' ad, expressing his willingness to fulfill the role of the victim. The two men began corresponding online and eventually arranged to meet in Rotenburg, where Meiwes lived. On March 9, 2001, Brandis traveled to Meiwes' home, fully aware of what was about to happen. Both men were consenting adults, and Brandis was not coerced in any way. What unfolded that night would later be described as one of the most grotesque and bizarre criminal cases in modern history. The gruesome act, cannibalism in Rotenburg. Once Brandis arrived at Meiwes' home, the two men engaged in various consensual acts leading up to the murder. According to Meiwes' later confession, Brandis had requested that his penis be cut off and that both he and Meiwes consume it together. Meiwes complied, amputating Brandis' penis with a knife. The two attempted to eat the severed organ, but it proved too tough to consume, even after cooking. Following this, Brandis, severely weakened from blood loss, requested to be killed. Meiwes then stabbed Brandis in the throat, ending his life. Over the next several days, Meiwes butchered Brandis' body, carefully cutting the flesh into portions and storing it in his freezer. In total, Meiwes consumed approximately 20 kilograms, 44 pounds, of Brandis' flesh over the following months. Meiwes recorded much of the act on video, creating a detailed and graphic account of the murder and cannibalism. The footage, which was later used in court, was deemed so disturbing that only select parts were shown to the jury and investigators. The arrest and trial. The crime went undiscovered for nearly 2 years, until December 2002, when Meiwes posted another ad online looking for a new willing victim. A concerned internet user reported the post to German authorities, and Meiwes was arrested shortly thereafter. When police searched his home, they found human remains in his freezer and discovered the videotape documenting Brandis' murder. Meiwes confessed to the crime without hesitation, explaining that Brandis had been a willing participant, and that the entire act had been consensual. This created a unique legal challenge, as German law at the time did not explicitly address consensual cannibalism. Meiwes' trial began in December 2003, and the case quickly became a media sensation. The public was horrified by the details of the crime, and the legal community debated whether Meiwes could be convicted of murder, given that his victim had fully consented to his own death. The prosecution argued that despite the victim's consent, Meiwes had committed premeditated murder, while the defense maintained that Meiwes should be charged with a lesser crime, such as killing on request, which carried a lighter sentence. The court also had to consider Meiwes' mental state and whether his fantasies of cannibalism were indicative of deeper psychological issues. In January 2004, Meiwes was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 8 years and 6 months in prison. However, the case did not end there. The prosecution appealed the verdict, arguing that the sentence was too lenient for such a heinous crime. A retrial was ordered in 2005, and in May 2006, Meiwes was convicted of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. Legal and ethical implications. The case of Armin Meiwes raised profound legal and ethical questions about consent and cannibalism. Could someone truly consent to their own murder? If both parties willingly agreed to the act, should it still be considered murder? These questions sparked intense debates in Germany and around the world. The case also forced the German legal system to confront gaps in its laws regarding consensual acts of extreme violence. While the concept of killing on request existed in German law, it was typically applied to cases of euthanasia, not consensual cannibalism. The Meiwes case set a legal precedent, emphasizing that even if a person consents to their death, the act of murder is still punishable under the law. Meiwes in prison and media sensation. Since his conviction, Armin Meiwes has been serving his life sentence in a German prison. While in prison, he has shown little remorse for his actions and continues to maintain that the crime was consensual. Meiwes has also given multiple interviews from prison, expressing regret only in the sense that he will never be able to fulfill his cannibalistic desires again. In some interviews, he has claimed that he now wishes to be a vegetarian. The media has shown continued fascination with Meiwes' case. Documentaries, films, and books have been produced about the Rotenburg Cannibal, and his story remains one of the most infamous in the annals of true crime. The case has also inspired several fictionalized accounts, including the 2007 horror film Cannibal, which was loosely based on the events surrounding Meiwes and Brandis.